Okay, today we're going to go over lists. I'm using Genie as my text editor. You could use Visual Studios or Notepad++ or any other text editing software you have on your computer. First thing we're going to do is give our list a name. The name I'm going to give mine is bicycles. I'm going to set it equal to square bracket. Everything inside the square bracket is what's in your list. So the first bicycle I will type is Trek with an apostrophe before and after the word, comma, apostrophe, Cannondale, apostrophe, comma, red line, apostrophe, close square bracket. If I tell the computer or the program to print my list, so I call print, and then the name of the list, which is bicycles. Notice I don't have quotes around bicycles. If I did that, it would only print out the word bicycle. I can actually show you that. Then I'm going to hit F5 to show you my list. It's going to ask you need to save your software first, or save your program first. I'm going to call this, let's call it lists. I've created a file called Python on my desktop. And so I click desktop. You want to create a new folder if you haven't already and call it Python. Once you have that folder, click on the folder and hit save. And then it outputs. For some reason I have an error. Let me try again. F5. File list line 1. Oh, I see my error. I didn't put an apostrophe before the R in red line. So I can simply just fix that error by adding the apostrophe, hit F5, and that's what it should look like. Now, I didn't do that error on purpose, but errors do happen. And then I was talking about earlier that if I had put bicycles in between quotation marks and hit F5, it's only going to print out the word bicycle and not my variable name or my list name for bicycles. So be careful when you're calling variable names or list names. If I just wanted to print out one bicycle off of my list, I would simply add square brackets. And then in between the square brackets, I would pick which number I want to display. So if I wanted to do Trek, some of you may think I would put a 1 in here, but if I put 1 and hit F5, you'll see it says Cannondale, which I spelled wrong with you now. Why it does that is computers start counting at 0. So Trek is actually position 0, Cannondale is 1, and red line is 2. So let me put 0 here, hit F5 and show you it says Trek, which it does. Next, if I put -1, some of you may think it would cause an error, but actually since Trek is 0, -1 would make the list loop back around to the end of the list and actually print out red line, which it does. -2 would be Cannondale, and -3 would also be Trek. So each value in your list actually has 2 values. So Trek is 0 and 3, Cannondale is 1 and -2, red line is -1 and 3. Oh, sorry, 2 and -1. So even I get confused. If I would just call for position number 3, which is over here, which doesn't exist, we'll get an error that says list index is out of range, meaning you're outside of your list. The other thing you can do with lists is to do a dot title with empty parentheses. This is going to capitalize the first letter of the word. So Cannondale now has a capital C, even though on my list, Cannondale has a lowercase c. The next thing I wanted to do is add a variable string. So my variable name will be message. I'm going to set it equal to quotation mark. My first bicycle was a quote. Notice I put a space between the A and the close quote. Plus, and I'm just going to copy this or cut this and paste it in here. And want the first one, so that's 0, position 0. And then I want to output my variable message. If I press F5, you'll see it now says my first bicycle was a Trek. And hopefully that makes sense to all of you. The next thing we're going to do is add a bicycle to our list. So if I wanted to add a bicycle, I'm going to go in between my bicycle and my message, and I'm going to say bicycle square bracket 0 square bracket. So I'm adding it to the first position equals apostrophe Schwinn apostrophe. And if I run that, I will now get an error. What did I do wrong? Bicycle is not defined. It's bicycles with an S. So once again, I forgot, even though I wrote bicycle without an S, that is not the same value name as bicycles with an S. So it caused an error. So now it says my first bicycle was a Schwinn. I also want to show you that if I output bicycles, you will see that we no longer have the Trek. When I added Schwinn at position 0, it removed what was currently at position 0 and replaced it with Schwinn. So if I don't want to remove something, but I want to add it, there's a different way to do that. So you would still say bicycles, but instead of quote 0 quote, you're going to do dot append, and then we're going to get rid of the equal sign and add a parentheses around the Schwinn. So now it's going to add Schwinn to the end of my current list. So now you see Trek is back, Cannondale, Redline, and then Schwinn has been added to the end of that current list. If I wanted to append it in a certain location or add it in a certain location, you don't use the word append. Instead, you use the word insert. So I'm going to do bicycle dot insert, open parenthesis, and let's put it at the beginning, 0, comma, Schwinn. So instead of appending Schwinn to the end of the list, I'm going to insert Schwinn at the beginning of the list. And you'll see this time, didn't spell insert right. Insert. So this time you will see that Schwinn is first, and then Trek, Cannondale, Redline. It didn't replace Trek, which was at position 0. It instead moved everyone down one position instead of replacing it. So what if I decided, I got this list of bicycles and I don't really know what a red line is, so I don't want red line in my list. So I can simply say DEL, which is delete, bicycles, square bracket, and then which one do I want to delete? Well, Schwinn is 0, Trek is 1, Cannondale is 2, red line is number 3. So I want to delete number 3. Hit F5, and you will see we now have Schwinn, Trek, and Cannondale. No longer have red line because we deleted it off of our list. The next thing I want to show you is what's called a pop. So I have my list of bicycles. I can print out my bicycles, but I also can remove or take out one of the variables. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a variable called popped bicycle. Let's do singular because it's only one variable. Set it equal to bicycles dot pop, empty parenthesis. And then if I print my bicycles, you will see what happens. And I'm also going to print my variable popped bicycle just to show you. So if I hit F5, so we have Schwinn, Trek, and Cannondale. And then I popped pop bicycle equals bicycles.pop, which removed the last item in my list, which in this case is Cannondale, and it put it into this variable called popped bicycle. So then when I printed my new list, it only gave me Schwinn and Trek. When I printed my popped bicycles, it gave me the Cannondale, which is now the way it's set up. I know that seems a little different or odd, but believe me, you will use it every once in a while in a list. The next thing I want to show you is that we can actually use that variable. So instead of just print popped bicycle, maybe we want a text message that says, the last bicycle I owned was a space quote plus popped bicycle. And then I can add the dot title if you want, or just leave it the way it is. Hit run. And you'll see the last bicycle I owned was a Cannondale. So I created a variable or a string with my variable that I removed out of my list. The other thing we can do is just to permanently remove something. We deleted earlier, I showed you how to do that, but we also can remove an item from the list. So let's say you don't know what position your item is in, like this one we counted because we can see our list and knew that red line was in position number 3. But this time I don't know what position it is and I just want to get rid of something. So I put the list name, bicycles, dot remove, and instead of giving it a position on the list, I'm just going to type in the name. So parenthesis, apostrophe, and then what name do I want to get rid of? Let's get rid of Trek. Apostrophe, parentheses. And then I can print my list of bicycles. And you will see that Trek has now been removed. And the only thing left in my list now is Schwinn, from what we started with. Okay, I think we've done enough with bicycles. You can save this file if you want. Just go up here and do a file save, and then simply create a new one if you want to, file new, and create a new list or a new program. I'm just going to delete what I currently have. Create a new list called cars. I'm going to set it equal to square bracket, apostrophe BMW, apostrophe comma, apostrophe Ford, apostrophe comma, apostrophe Chevy, apostrophe square bracket. Okay. Next thing I want to do is just print cars just to show you. Hit F5. Oops, I didn't mean to have that F there. Hit F5. You see we got BMW, Ford, Chevy. What if I had a huge long list and I wanted it in alphabetical order? Well, to do that, you just simply do cars, the name of your list, dot sort, empty parentheses, and then hit F5, and you'll see the new list is in alphabetical order. BMW, Chevy, Ford. Okay. What if I wanted to reverse the list? I want to end from Z to A. Well, to do that, you just go inside the parenthesis and say reverse equals true, and this T has to be capitalized. If it's not, you'll get an error. So now it's Ford, Chevy, BMW, which is a reversal. The other way you can do a reverse is just by simply putting cars dot reverse, which is the easier way, I think, to do it. Same end result, Chevy, Ford, BMW. And I think, yep, that's it for this lesson. So if you have any questions, you can go back on this video, rewind it, pause it, take a look at what I did. Did make some typing errors. That's just part of programming. Even the best programmers will make an error, a syntax error, or some kind of typing error like I did. It's no big deal. Just read what the code or the error code says and try and figure out what you did wrong. But thanks for watching.